Hey everyone, welcome back to Kali Plants. Me again, Mark. Today we're at the front of our house, and I've decided that on this video we're gonna be doing a little repotting of our propagations. I prepared some of my propagations right here. Okay, so you can see the little plants that we have here. Now I know this is not the best time to be propagating succulents because it's in the middle of the summer and we're just gonna start going into the rainy season. Okay, but we're getting there, we're getting into the rainy season, and so I thought that before that happens, okay, might just have to repot some of the propagations that I already have. I'm also doing this because the greenhouse is getting a little bit spacious. Okay, I'm not buying any more plants, but still we're getting dead plants everywhere, so I wanted to add more pots to our spaces so that it doesn't look too empty. And we also have here some of my leaf propagations. I will be giving you some tips on how to plant that. And yes, we're on our new setup that I just did today. We have our lovely plants right here at the sides. Okay, we have our lovely hanging sedums right here. Okay, you can see that. Okay, hopefully the camera catches that. So I just placed them here. This is not in any way a permanent like place for these plants. I just brought them inside so that we have something nice to look at while we're doing the video. Okay, and we have some of our outdoor succulents right here, so it's getting kind of noisy outside. Okay, but I have this really lovely lush looking succulents that are growing right now at the outside of our house. And yeah, I haven't been doing a lot with them, so a lot of these other outdoor succulents are really struggling right now here in my place because of the heat. But yeah, I'm not really bothered with them anymore. I will let them survive however they want to, and if some of them die, then I will just be replacing them whenever we manage to get back to the highlands, because I just thought that I will just be buying succulents straight from the highlands. I will not be buying them through shipping anymore. And because it's in the middle of the summer, I'm not bothering with my succulents too much, because yeah, sometimes when I bother with them, they just die faster. Okay, so I'm just gonna wait until the rainy season comes, and then we're gonna be doing a lot more gardening. So now I also thought about replanting some of our propagations, because some of them are actually growing pretty large right now. Okay, you can see that. That's just on the tray that we have here at the bottom, so it's just been growing like that. Okay, and also I have a new shipment of loose compost right here, so we're gonna be utilizing that on our repot session right now. Okay, so I think that's about enough introduction and updates on our plants. Let me just switch the camera and we'll make the potting mix for our succulents. So just pardon the bikes that we have here, because my brothers bring up their bikes in this terrace, in this balcony, because they feel like it's much more safer there. Okay, so now we have these propagations. Okay, these are my Pachyphytum compactum propagations, and they're not looking so hot. Some of them are getting burned, scorched. So after repotting them, I will actually be putting them far away from the full sun exposure so that they won't die. We also have these clavatum. Okay, this is the not the pink clavatum, this is the green clavatum. I've had this for a little while, and it's been growing and it's been establishing in this spot for a very long time, so I figured that I would like to repot it, put it into a bigger container. Probably it has drained all the nutrients in its old soil, so which is why it's not growing so much anymore, so we're going to be changing the soil. This is also my sedum propagation, sedum burrito. Okay, I have my other sedum burrito right here. This one are some cuttings that I took. Okay, I think this came from an outdoor arrangement that I did a few months back. Okay, and they didn't do so well in that arrangement, so I took them off and I'm rerouting them in these containers, and they have plumped back up, you can see here. Okay, so I'm thinking that they are ready to be repotted. Okay, so we'll be putting them up in that hanging pot. Okay, and we also have some of my other leaf propagations here, just something nice to look at. I don't think that we will have to repot them. Okay, and we also have this one, which is not doing so well, so it hasn't grown a lot, this Graptoviria, and yeah, I'm intending to repot it right now. We also have these propagations. You can see here up close how many pups are there already. So yeah, we're just gonna repot them. So also the potting mix we will be doing is something that I have updated because yeah, it's getting too hot in my location, so I intend to plant them all in mixtures that has more alnus compost. Yeah, so we're gonna be using all of these. Okay, let's just break it open. This is still kind of damp. This is newly shipped alnus compost. So there you go. Okay. I don't think we're gonna be using too much though. And this is my pumice. Okay, I've already sifted out my pumice earlier. You know what? I have some perlite. I just remembered. Let me just go take it. Okay, so this is perlite. I just got it. And this is a different type of inorganic material compared to pumice in that it's much more lighter, very light. You can't feel it really heavily, okay? And it's very dusty. So I'm gonna be sifting this out before I mix it in. But what the perlite does is it makes the pot much more lighter. So that's especially if you want your pots to be lighter, if you already have heavy pots. But don't add too much of the perlite because roots don't establish in just this material. You need to have organic materials mixed in as well. And this also helps with the aeration of the roots so that the potting mix dries up much faster. And I've been trying this out on my cacti, on my recent potting mixes, so I figured that we can also mix some of these into our current potting mix. So let me just sift it out. Okay, so I just sifted it outside. There's still some dusty particles on it. Yeah, I'm trying to dodge when it's flying off like that because you don't want to breathe any of those dusty particles from perlite. It's not good for your health. It will irritate your lungs. Okay, so you don't want to breathe that in. Make sure it's far away from you when you sift it out, or the wind will just blow it away from your face, not towards your face. It's really irritating. I've breathed those before. Really irritating to the lungs. Now, I would not say that you really need the perlite in your potting mix. If you can afford it, then it will probably help you feel better because you bought some more expensive materials for your plants. But I've grown propagations before without perlite, so yeah, I think you can still have success even if you don't use that. Let's just add some more pumice. Okay, so what we have right now is a very organic material heavy potting mix. I will probably still add some more pumice, though you don't want it looking like it's made up of pure pumice. I would also say that these organic materials, you don't want to put too little of them because they will be washed off once you water the plants. So most of these will still be washed off, and what usually remains in the pots are the pumice, and in the end, once it ages, the plant doesn't do well in a very pumice heavy potting mix. Okay, so I think this is kind of nice. I think I would like to start with this one. This one hasn't doing so well for me, and yeah, I think that it needs a good repot right now. So let's just take it out of its old pot. Okay, look at the roots. Okay, you can see here all these like wasted pumice because the plant is not rooting on those. And you can see here it didn't fill all the way through in its pot, so yeah, we're gonna be throwing that out. Okay, looking at it right now, I think there's some carbonized rice hull mixed into it, but this is already a very hefty root system, though I would like to improve it a little more because I think that this is too dry for the plant. You can see all the dried leaves that we have here. Once I water them, they don't plump too quickly, and then they don't grow too much. So yeah, I think that is very dry. So we're gonna add more organic materials into it. If you add more organic materials, you can probably water less frequently, and that's actually what I like, watering less frequently. I don't have all the time to water my plants, so you might want to add more organic materials if you don't water a lot. Okay, so I think that's about it. There's still some nice white roots on it, so we're gonna be reusing this pot. Okay, there's no problem with that. I'm not gonna wash it anymore because I'm no longer that particular with my plants. Okay, I would just recommend that after repotting this plant, or if you're gonna be repotting at this time of the year, if you're in the northern hemisphere, don't water them just yet, and also don't expose them to full sun. Probably half day sun, but not full day sun, because they will still have to attach to their new potty mix before you can see growth on them. And yeah, if they don't attach to their potting mix, they will get burned with the hot sun. So I have a much more shaded area at the bottom of my greenhouse, so I will be leaving them there. I have a little table right there where they get morning sun and not afternoon sun. Now you do want to tamp on them, on the soil, compress it a little bit, because if you don't and if you water, the soil will sink and you will have less soil than what you began with. So I would recommend you tamp it a little bit. Okay, just like what I'm doing here. Okay, so I think that's nice. I also repotted some of my other succulents this way. Repotted them in new potting mixes. I'm just careful not to touch the upper portion of the rosette, just on the sides. So that's what you can do. Okay, so you have that. I'm gonna be moving this up right now. We're also gonna be doing a cleanup. Oops. Okay, so you can see here, not a lot of roots. This is a bad potting mix. Okay, so it seems to have carbonized rice hull and not a lot of alnus. So this must be the soilless potting mix that I've used before, which is why it's not growing. Okay. So yeah, I said it before, I use soilless potting mix and not alnus compost, and a lot of my succulents didn't do so well on that type of mix. I also just realized, because some of my commenters said that they've been using pine bark and what was the other ingredient, cocoa peat, on their succulents, and the cocoa peat is not drying too fast. So yeah, that is one issue that you would want to fix as well. I also tried cocoa peat before, and the soilless potting mix that this one is planted in also has cocoa peat in it, and my succulents are just not doing well in that kind of potting mix. Okay, so now I use like mostly organic alnus compost for my organic materials. Really sad, especially when this happens. I know some of you can relate. Some other people will not have like the patience to keep on repotting and keep on adjusting their potting mix for their succulents. Some other people won't have the patience for that. That's actually one reason that your succulent might die, because the plant is not compatible with the potting mix. A lot of other like growers that doesn't know, or other like sellers that doesn't know about it, they will recommend sometimes potting mixes that are not good for your succulents, and then you plant them in it and then they die. So yeah, it's just a matter of like adjusting, learning. Succulents really need patience, but once you get the hang of it, they will be pretty much effortless from then on. Once you find a potting mix for them, find what they like, then you won't have to be bothered with them anymore. Okay, but this one, I'm actually impressed by how well this has done, even though if it was not planted in a very good potting mix. And with that small amount of roots, you can see it still stayed alive. Okay, if you don't have roots on your plants, that's usually the time that it will get mealybugs and sunburn. So yeah, you might want to correct that. If your plant is not growing, not getting fat, change your potting mix. Okay, especially if that happens for a very long time, like they're not growing, they're not putting new leaves, so you might want to replace your potting mix. Okay, so on this next one, we're gonna be planting our sedum right here, okay, into this pot. Okay, let me just clear out the hole on this one. I forgot what was planted in this, but it's kind of dirty. Yeah, and I would not recommend that you buy a lot of succulents if you're a beginner and you don't know the potting mix yet. You have no idea what works for you yet. Don't buy a lot, because if you make a mistake on your potting mix, and if you already planted a lot of the succulents that you have in that bad potting mix, and you realize that the plant you have there is not doing well, or for example you just realize one of your plants are not doing well, usually that means all of the plants that you planted in that potting mix, in that same type of mixture, they will not do well later on. Okay, so usually you will find one plant starting to die first, and then you think, oh, the other plants are doing well, so I'm gonna repot them. But sometimes as you go along, as you progress, those other plants will also deteriorate later on. They don't deteriorate at the same time, but usually they will all do if you have a bad potting mix on them. Okay, so also the rooting process is not an easy process to deal with. Okay, this is a cutting. This has been with me for a very long time, and you can see the small amount of roots on this one. So yeah, usually if you want to root your succulents, you don't want to touch them a lot, especially if you're propagating them. It will disturb the rooting process. Okay, but once you see their leaves like getting fat like this one, okay, you can see the leaves are getting fat. Okay, that means that when I water it, it gets fat and it has some new growth. That means that the potting mix is good. Okay, if you see your succulents like this, you can see here, it's very wrinkled. Okay, that usually means that the potting mix is not good for them, or they're not like rooted up nicely yet. Okay, you can see on this one it's already plump, so that means that it's rooted already. We're just gonna be very careful not to disturb all the roots, but yeah, I'm gonna be separating them right now. There's another one right here. Let's check if this one has roots. Oh, this one is attached. Oops. Okay. Oh, I'm surprised. This one has quite the roots. Okay, so what you just saw was the root ball, like that. So that's what we call the root ball. Okay, this mass of roots. Okay, you don't want to disturb this a lot, especially if you're like starting out. If you already have that root ball on your plants. Now, if you're planting like plain cuttings that doesn't have tons of roots in this type of potting mix, you might not want to bottom water them right away, because it will take longer for the potting mix to dry. So if you're starting out and you already have a lot of organic materials, just try doing some top watering first for about, I think, a few weeks, just so you can be sure that the roots already have expanded in their potting mix, and that once the roots has expanded, it will not be that prone to rotting anymore. Okay, that's looking really nice. Okay, still kinda like empty, but if we get like too sprawly on this one, if it gets too elongated, I will just cut off these long stems and it will branch out right here, and we'll get much more lush growth on it later on. Okay, let me just show you real quick. Okay, what happened to my other burrito? So this has been growing for a very long time. You can see all these new like pops right here. You can see here all of these new pops. Okay, see there? Okay, those are all new, and it's just going out of the pot like that. Okay, really fun, really funky. And these old branches right here, I think this is the one that has flowered. Okay, I think it already had like died. So this one seems to already have died because it's no longer producing like heads right here. Let me just take out these flowers. Okay, so see there, this head already didn't produce any more leaves. So what I think will happen, I'm just practically murdering this right now. Okay, I don't want to touch it anymore. Okay. You can see there's still a flower bud right here. Let's just take that out. Okay, so managed to take off a few leaves. Okay, so yeah, as you can see here, this is already a beheaded stem. Okay, there's no longer any growth on that one. So people on Facebook, if you are watching, if your sedum grows a flower like that, that means the head will already be a goner. But it's not entirely dead. Okay, you can see here the length of this stem. Okay, you can see that it's not entirely dead. Okay, so there will be new growth either at the tips like this one, and it will also have like new growth at the bottom of the stem at the top right here. Okay, so it will also have growth over there. You can see all the lush growth that it has up there. And we also have some dried leaves on this one. Let me just take it. This is because I haven't been watering a lot, as I said. Okay, but you can see here, this is the stem that died. There is also some pops growing right there. Okay, so it's just hidden. So we'll see more growth on that soon. And I'm actually pondering, really trying my best to think about it, how I will be repotting this monster plant. You can see here all this new growth. How I will repot that, I have no idea. Okay, but it's already grown into a really lush looking sedum. We also have this one right beside it. This is the other donkey tail sedum that has much more pointed leaves. Okay, this already has produced some new pups here in my care. Okay, even though the leaves are not all like plump yet. Yeah, but we already have some new growth on it at the bottom as well. Okay, which is really nice, and it has new clean farina. Really adorable. Okay, and I just love how they look right now. Okay, so but I'm pretty sure I will have to repot this one. You can see the potting mix, it has already is like pure pumice already, so I think it already took up all the soil, and I've drained the soil out because I've been watering it. And yeah, I will have to add new soil to it so that it can grow more. So that's what I'm really bothered about right now. So now we're back to our plant potting location. Let me just take this out so that we can have space for the others. So now, since this video is already getting too long, I decided I will not be planting up those Pachyphytum anymore. We're just gonna be potting up our leaf propagations. Okay. So that's how much leaf propagation we already have grown. I will be inspecting them for mealybugs. Okay. Sometimes mealybugs like to attack these propagations. You can see this one has a lot of mealybugs on it. Okay, that's just pure mealybugs right there. No more growth. Okay, so it's best if you like check if your like propagations have that, so that it doesn't spread once you repot them. Okay, I'm inspecting my propagation tray right now. We have a lot of leaves that has some buds on them, that has some growth. Yeah, checking for mealybugs. No mealybugs on this one. Okay, this is just like a mix right now. Not even sure anymore what type of plants these are. You can see this one has grown upside down. Okay, really funny. Okay, this is the top of the leaf and it has grown under it. Helen are especially very fast growers. I have a commenter which commented a very long post, and she said that she's not confident about the Graptovirius because she thinks that all rosette succulents are already sensitive with water. But I would just like to give her some advice if she's watching this video. Graptovirius and Graptopetalums are actually some of the faster growing ones, and you don't have to worry about their watering. They're kind of thirsty and they grow a lot. Echeverias, I would say, are the only one you have to be very careful with the watering. And the thicker leaf Graptopetalums, like those Graptopetalums amethystinum that has really large leaves, you have to be mindful not to water them too much. The larger the leaf, the thicker the leaf, the less watering that the plant needs. Okay, so I think that's about it. That's about all the plants that I can fit into this. And there is some other propagations that are not looking good. I don't think that they will do well, so I haven't planted them in there, and they seem to have a lot of mealybugs. So yeah, I'm gonna be throwing a lot of the leaves right here on the side. Really, let me just show you. Okay, these are all the leaves that I have. Okay, and they're not looking so good. I will have to throw a lot of these leaves away. They don't have any growth, and some already had dried up. So now you have an idea what will happen if you store a propagation station like this. It will look like this either way. No one has the time to clean up all of these every day. Okay, so we already have planted this one and this one, and we also have our hanging sedum right here, which I will not be putting in a very direct sun location yet. Okay, we're still gonna wait until this one roots up. So here we have that, and yeah, I think that's about it for our video. If you really like the repotting session that we did in this one, please make sure to hit the thumbs up. Comment down any questions or problems that you want us to fix in our future videos, so that we have something to discuss about. And also, I think that we will be doing a series of repotting sessions from now on, because I still have a lot of other succulents and cacti to repot. And I'm just gonna be preparing them so that we can repot them together. I hope that it doesn't bore you too much, us repotting together. Probably you can watch these videos if you're repotting as well your succulents right now. Okay, so you can have someone to talk to you while you are doing your repotting. Okay, so you can watch my videos while we do that. Okay, so that we can repot together. Okay, our lovely succulents. But I think that's about it for this video, guys. If you have any questions, as I said, comment down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.